I don't honestly think I've ever seen anything quite like this before. Maybe I have, and I just don't recall it. Certainly fresh in the mind, seeing the Indiana Fever injury list, which has been added to Damiris Dantas out for the game against the Dream, as she has a concussion protocol. Apparently, suffered the concussion in practice on Thursday, according to Tony East. Look at the status report: Dantas out, Bibby out, Clark obviously out. Sydney Colson out. Sophie Cunningham out. Congratulations to Sophie, her Missouri Hall of Fame honor. Ari McDonald out. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a team, right? Like, that's a team. You could start Clark with Cunningham in the backcourt. And actually, Cunningham probably needs to be the 3. I would probably start Bibby, Dantas, Clark, Cunningham, McDonald. It's probably the best. Not saying it's a great team, but it's still a team, right? That you could feel with injury lists for the Fever. And when you look at this specifically, I don't want to oversell it as if Damiris has been like this huge presence for the Fever this year. But in this specific matchup, it's significant because I've talked about the size difference that Atlanta has compares to Indiana. Now look at Atlanta's size on the roster here, right? Players over 200 pounds. You have Brianna Jones and you have Brittany Griner, of course, right? Now, on the Fever side of things, when you look at players at that size, Dantas is one of them. From a mass standpoint, probably next, her and AB, the biggest players currently available on the roster. Bibby is close to 200 pounds. She's out. She would be a body that could body up with people and, of course, spread the floor. You look at the rest of the roster, everybody's thinner. Even the bigs, Timpson and Turner, buck 75. They could get pushed around in this matchup. Maybe Dantas was going to be utilized against Atlanta's front court. And, AB, if AB gets into foul trouble, you're now extraordinarily thin in the front court if you're Indiana. And Turner will be relied upon, but she doesn't really have the size against Jones or Griner from a, caboose standpoint. And the rest of it, it's tough. I mean, because Timpson's just not ready for prime time when it comes to minutes. So watching AB's fouls is going to be a huge, huge story going into this game. And then you look at Atlanta's just a big team overall. Like Hillman is 6'2", Ryan Howard is 6'2". The Fever are missing Sophie Cunningham, who's listed at 6'1". Obviously, they're missing Clark, who's 6 feet tall. Instead, Odyssey Sims is the starter at 5'8". Ariel Powers is 5'11", not much under that, but still under that. Kelsey's 5'8". The players that are out there are smaller. Lexi Hull is really the only player who is capable of kind of matching up with those wings. It's going to be Lexi and Ariel Powers are going to have to do that, which I brought up before. Apparently, the Corgi did pick the Fever. So if that's good for anything, you can celebrate that aspect. The dog that makes picks with the basketball into a bucket or whatever. Here, I just saw that before I started this, so I was looking for some good news. This is about the best news I got for you right here. Dream, get the first one. Fever, second one. And then the Fever. So there you go. The Fever advance 2-1 over the Atlanta Dream, according to that dog. But, that's the one thing. The Fever do have that dog in them. And they're not going to give up. They're not going to quit going into the matchup. They've talked about the specifics and what they have to do to counter what the Dream do, where the matchup disadvantages are. Here's some of what AB had to say about this specific matchup.
Different than what you saw earlier this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at Atlanta roster top to bottom, they're just pretty big. And so I think for us, just making sure that we keep that ball movement and that we hone into our defensive principles that we've been just emphasizing the entire year.
They're a pretty good team on the defensive end too. What challenges do they present when you guys are in offense and they're in defense?
Yeah, honestly, I think for us, it's really not even focusing on that part of it. It's just about keeping the ball moving. Like, we know they're going to be up in the pass lanes. They're going to be super aggressive. So for us, just matching that physicality offensively as well and getting to our spots.
You've been one of 4 players, I think, to play every game this season for the Fever, just what do you do to stay consistent even with all these injuries, especially on the point guard side?
Yeah, I think honestly for me, this entire season's about being consistent. So just continue to show up the way that I have to and do anything that my team needs from me. And honestly, I just feel like I've been just trying to just stay level-headed in that way.
We got the injured reserves here with you guys, which last month, they just weren't able to travel. What
Yeah.
does that mean to you specifically, just having them there?
Yeah, I was super excited. I think just looking at the injured squad in itself, they just have a lot of knowledge. And so for us, just being able to listen to them, taking what they see, because obviously just them watching is going to be a different view than us on that court. And so super, super happy to have them with us.
Last year, it was your first playoff experience you were preparing for. I know the team and everything is different, circumstances are different, but how do you individually feel different or like more prepared maybe this year compared to last year?
Honestly, I think this whole
Said really consistently throughout the whole regular season that you felt like if you got to the playoffs, you want to make some noise.
Yes.
It wasn't just about getting there. So
Yes.
what have you seen the last few weeks of the regular season that made you really confident and that's exactly what you guys can do?
I think our energy has been pretty high. Defensively, I think we've been able to up it a notch, which has been really great for us. And honestly, I think just finding that flow, finding that rhythm between each other, I think it's been pretty great.
So, yeah, the Fever are going to have to run Atlanta out of the gym. They're going to have to get the ball popping everywhere. Kelsey Mitchell's going to have a huge game. AB is going to have a huge game. It's the reason I have Kelsey Mitchell first team All WNBA and Aaliyah Boston second team All WNBA because they've had to do a lot more than some of the star players on other teams because of the huge void that comes with Caitlin Clark's absence. Lexi Hull has been another one who's just been super consistent. You're going to need Natasha Howard to maybe have a breakout kind of scoring game in order to keep even with Atlanta. But Dantas specifically, she hasn't been a great player this year. I've advocated for her to be benched at times. I think she's very matchup specific, but this is a matchup specific game for her. So that's where the loss is going to be felt. Not to mention she had come on a little bit. One of the things that hurt her performance this year is that she wasn't hitting her threes. But in the last several games, 3 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 3. So she finally got her 3-ball rolling a little bit. Saw she got 17 minutes, 11 minutes, 21 minutes in the last few games, 10 points, 6 boards, 9 points, 2 boards, 7 points. Don't want to overstate the impact, of course, but still, a piece in the front court, some depth in the front court in a matchup where they're going to need it. And it's just kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe the Indiana Fever injuries that just continue to pile up and pile up and pile up. Maybe, there's a bit of mercy in the season ending, but they're never going to ask for it. They're going to keep going out there and play until the wheels fall off, I guess, both kind of literally and metaphorically in a sense at this point. But, I didn't have any other content planned before the game. And then you happen to be scrolling and see another one. And in this case, a concussion. Like it just, especially that, it's not even anything related to any other injuries. It's just a calamity, basically, at this point.